Hey, good morning. Good morning this Friday. We really hope that this is a good morning for you. It's not very usual kind of moment for all of us, but nevertheless, so thank you for joining and welcome to another Sales and Marketing Fry Talk episode, where we share insights, best practices, and anecdotes from technology companies. And this time, in this episode, we have Vedran Soloja joining us to talk about what it takes to make prospective buyers not only recognize the problem, but also to take a step further and act on the solving it. So welcome, Vedran.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, so
Good to have
just a
you.
few words about Vedran, and then please introduce yourself to the audience as well. Vedran is joining us from the Microsoft. He is actually Senior Marketing Communication Manager at Microsoft, responsible for demand generation for security and productivity solutions, specifically in Central and Eastern Europe. So he definitely knows how to really work on this topic, what we are going to discuss, and I'm really looking forward to learn from Vedran experience. So once again, welcome, and maybe just you could explain for the audience a bit more about yourself, about your role in the company and your background. Yes.
Sure. And thank you guys for inviting me. It's a real pleasure and honor to be a part of your Fry Talks. I heard a lot about it and I've seen some, so it's nice to be in a good company always. So exactly as you said, Andres, basically my most recent responsibilities are around productivity and security solutions for the region of Central and Eastern Europe, where I, as an integrated marketing manager, am responsible for all the what we call region-wide campaigns, usually business to business, not usually, but only business to business. So it's a commercial marketing in place. And basically, we are talking about different kind of activities and engagements in different steps of customer journey. So whether it's awareness, most of it is demand generation, but also we do a lot mid-funnel activities together with the subsidiaries and our dear friends, our key stakeholders, which we call BG, so business groups. And just for maybe end of the introduction, besides me being in marketing communications for the last few years, I was also I was also a product manager for, just like you, Andre, some time ago. We worked together, right?
Yes.
And so I also have this, let's say, business experience. And on top of it, all my career, which is already almost 20 years, I'm involved in marketing, advertising, and promotion.
Yeah. So that sounds like a great experience what we can learn from. And just to kick off the conversation, as I mentioned, we would like really to maybe dig deeper into understanding and learning how actually, guys, you are really making people not only to recognize the problem and the issue, but really take an act. And why we decided that this topic is really important, because that's probably one of the most difficult parts of the marketing, if you look from the execution perspective, because we see that obviously there are a lot of activities happening on the market to educate people and to explain them problem. That's how you create actually demand, how you create a market for you, right? But same time, when it comes to the end result, we still see that many people are remaining with no proactive action taking, right? And as an example, we can take a security topic. Information security, cyber security topic, which is very important for many years already. And if you ask somebody, like, is it really important to take care of your data? Is it important to protect your infrastructure? Probably everyone will answer yes. So people really understand the importance of it. But when you start to dig deeper and look what actually they do for that, you recognize that many companies still remain very unprotected, if you like. So, there is some reason behind that, probably. So let's maybe try to understand what actually makes people, or still staying on where they are.
Well, I
What do you
mean,
think?
it's a great question, and at the same time, it's very complicated one because
Yes.
not only me, but I think whole industry is trying to understand how to move the needle from reactive to proactive response. This is
Yes.
what you were saying,
Yeah.
basically, right? And I think the key thing here is to understand who are those people, who is your audience, right? And
Yeah.
to understand what exactly this audience knows about cybersecurity, what they think they know, and what they know they don't know, right?
Yes.
And for that, and basically it's like I would say the basics of marketing, we need insights, right? We need to start with insights. We need to understand who is our audience, what they care about, and the things that I already mentioned, what the stage of knowledge and awareness on cybersecurity is, right? And just like in any marketing campaign, no matter the topic, uh, I believe that thorough in research or on insights of your audience will help you, guide you, find your message, define your narrative, and above all, most importantly, to appeal to this audience, right? To talk their language, as we say, right? Because sometimes
Yeah.
we all, instead of starting from the customers, sometimes we start from ourselves. Like we believe we have a good product, and we cannot believe that nobody else, or most of them, they don't know about it, right? But the question is why, and I think we need to start from the customers. I know it's nothing new, but what I experienced in
Yes.
my career is that I think it's in the human nature. We tend to start with the assumption on what's happening in the market instead of really to ask our customers and partners on what's happening in the market, right? And I know that the resources for the researchers to get these insights are usually not available for everybody, right? Especially if
Yeah.
we are talking about smaller businesses, which I believe this is the key target audience for us in this moment, right? And or even small IT companies that are serving small businesses or
Yes.
smaller.
Yes.
But it's unbelievable what you can find on internet if you spend a few days in desktop research. And I will just give one example, and I share this ebook with you as well, and I hope we can share it in in comments for at the end of the call of the meeting
Yes.
or the webcast. Is We recognize this, that we think we know. So we did a research in Central and Eastern Europe, covering 6 major countries, covering all segments, so from smaller to the biggest businesses, and covering also different kind of audiences, because we acknowledge the fact that technical people who are dealing with IT are much more informed and much more aware of cybersecurity side, which is the BDMs, as we call them, right? So I think it opened our eyes because again, we then what happened is that we faced our assumptions, and what we found out, and I will just give you a few interesting things, is that out of I think it was more than 1,500 companies we surveyed. Uh, so out of 1,000 plus companies, 86% of them said that they are satisfied with the cybersecurity and security of their IT systems, right?
Uh-huh.
When he asked about, do you have now, if you are satisfied, do you have any security strategy? What to protect first? What is the most important? Is it people? Is it data? Is it mobile connections in the light of remote and hybrid work, right? Only, I think, let me just, only 40% of them said that they have or they think about security strategy. So it's quite a interesting moment, right? what it tells to me is that most of our companies and customers, they have some kind of security solutions already in the systems, but how they use it, are they compatible? Do people know, the employees know how to use it? Comes as a big question, right? So
Yes. And I think with security, there's always this paradox, because when people think about security, they think if there's a breach, something bad will happen, like explosion, fire, or flooding, or something like that. But in terms of technology security, the nature of attacks very often is such that if the objective is to obtain some information, steal some trade secrets or something like that, then invader actually is interested not to be identified, and they can stay in company. They can keep on stealing secrets, stealing technologies for many years, and there is no way how, and that doesn't cause any explosion or any other event which would allow companies to figure out that, okay, something bad has happened. And if nothing bad happens, then why care? We have other priorities. I don't know, business growth, compliance, etc. Why really pay attention to security?
Well,
Yes, I just wanted to say that these examples, what you just sharing, both of you, basically tells me that you should not just rely on the simple answer from the customer on the question, do you understand the problem, right? So you need to go deeper and really discover what exactly they mean by understanding the problem, and then to find what are these uncovered parts of the problem, what you need to still educate them on, right?
Exactly.
And then basically focus your marketing awareness activities or education activities on these parts of the story, correct?
This is exactly what I wanted to continue with. So once you have these insights, I said once, and let me repeat it again, because it's quite a striking moment, right? Almost everybody is satisfied with their security solutions, but every second company doesn't have a really comprehensive security strategy, or what does it mean, right? Then we dig deeper, and then we understood that majority of it comes that they are aware that strategy is not there because the employees are not really ready or skilled enough to use all of those security solutions that the company might have already, right? So what we found out, and there are a lot of different insights in this data, but we used in this survey, but we used it as a starting point to understand our customers and to build the strategy around it when it comes to marketing, communications, demand generation, and so on, right? And this ebook is free, so everybody can use it for their own insights, right? And then probably everybody will discover something a little bit different depending on the country, depending on the size of the market, depending on the audience they serve, and so on. But what we find out basically is that there's a lack of understanding how to use the security, what cybersecurity is and how to use it. That's one thing. Another thing is that obviously there is a need for skilling, right? Of the employees, internal skilling, like awareness on security, but also the skilling external coming from all the big tech companies in terms of how to use the latest, the most recent, the most sophisticated solutions that are out there, right? Or what built-in security means, right? For the SMBs, it's the most important thing. We heard answers like, I really don't have time and I don't have people to deal with all the security solutions, right? Antivirus for me is just enough. But then when you introduce the features of the built-in security in the different solutions, then the story can turn around differently, right? So I'm again saying, insights are the first, then you get to know your audience, and after you know your audience, you know how to speak with them, right? And when you speak to their language, then as in one movie they said, if you build it, they will come, right? So if you find the right language, it's definitely the way how you will get the engagement. And this is what we see is happening, at least in our case. Because based on these insights, we built basically another white paper or ebook that especially for the broader audience and especially for SMBs, which we call Cybersecurity Simplified, where we basically translated all the key cybersecurity scenarios from technical language to, let's say, normal or let's say BDM language. So everybody really understand what is behind all these sometimes maybe not very simple technical terms, right? And it helped us move forward. And once we got the response, we built upon that, trying to do a second step, which is like, okay, now when you are interested, here is the skilling options, here is the webinar, here is the training that we can offer to you to understand how it really works, right? And going back to this proactive reactive story, I think I often use the metaphor of going to dentist. So, people usually go to dentist, and I don't want to judge how many, but when it starts to hurt, right?
Yeah.
This is exactly what happens with security. People are aware on how cybersecurity is important when it starts to hurt. And instead of which is the proactive approach, going to a dentist every 6 months just to check, it's less painful, it's less costly, and in long term it works much better for everybody. So it's basically the same with security, right? What I think, although cybersecurity is like everybody recognizes the importance of it, I think it's the thing with it is that it's not tangible, right? You cannot take something like a lock and lock your systems, right, in a physical way, right? And hence it takes time to understand the value of it and how it works. And again, I will take a completely different example, which is related with the personal security, which is I discovered just few days ago when I was preparing for this conversation. That it took us as humans 50 years from the moment we invented cars to a moment we put the seatbelt in those cars. 50 years.
Yes.
So I just want to say that, of course, it's not the case with cybersecurity. We are much faster, but I think it also requires time, not necessarily money and big budgets to educate the customers and to approach them. It requires time. But if you know what is the direction you want to go, what is the target you want to hit, is it technical? Is it BDMs? Is it, I don't know, in SMBs, it can be the office managers that are like responsible for all the procurement as well, right? Then it changes the picture completely of your campaign and the messages you want to land, right?
It's a very good point.
Just this piece is like also the theory of marketing. If your target is everybody, then your target is nobody.
Nobody,
So focus.
We keep repeating the same, probably in many of other occasions as well. But the fundamentals are still very important, and knowing your audience, kind of, obvious thing for everyone, in marketing and sales, but still ignored quite a lot or overlooked. And I think sometimes also, many marketeers or many leaders in sales as well assume that it's kind of something very expensive and very complicated about learning your kind of audience. They think that you need to run really like some surveys or studies or something like that. In reality, and I guess I mentioned it earlier as well, it's quite enough to have few conversations, like deep conversation with your existing maybe customers, right? Just ask them really, how do they make decision about these topics? What actually triggers this decision? How they, what is the process for them to, to select a solution, and who actually is part of this process? And already that will give you a lot of insights, and moreover, it actually will give you an input for your marketing messaging, because as you also, Vedran, said, that it's important who is actually in the organization firstly taking care of it. And in many cases, if we think of small businesses especially, right, selling security means actually going through the, office manager quite often, because this is the person in small organization who actually is responsible for everything besides the core business processes, like, selling or supporting customers. And then they are asked to find something for that or another reason or the problem, right? And if you
to find a partner, to find a telco partner, to find a device partner, right? So, give me 3 offers, find me 3 offers. Who are these people?
Yes, exactly. And simplification is very important,
Exactly.
very important aspect of it, because especially in the IT industry, people tend to speak language what understand only the same industry people, right?
Yeah.
And if you think of this office manager, then you completely change the way how you explain it, right? The same as to explain the security to your grandma or to your wife or kids, right? And that's the way how you can approach the story.
Yes, and paradox here is that very often tech companies are founded and run by real skilled people, real who are experts, and then they always need to remember that the audience you're selling to is not yourself. So you really need to figure out how to communicate on their own language rather than stick to your common language of technical terms and industry jargon and so on.
Okay, just to summarize,
maybe I just wanted to say one more thing also that I remember from some of the presentations I was listening to. This guy said, like, whenever you think about approaching your customer, don't stop there. Think about what customer of your customer needs, right? Because this is the pain that your customer has.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
And you know, like somebody said, like the best way to sell cloud is not to talk about cloud, is to talk about the solution that this application of the cloud can bring to make your life and life for your customers easier. So it's kind of a little bit looking few steps ahead and few customers ahead, or few audiences, targets ahead, in order to appeal to your very primary target. It's very important to have the primary target. I think there from the story comes the channel that you are using after that. It really depends on the audience, right? So going after everybody and going on all the channels doesn't make sense, right? You don't have money for it, you don't have time for it, you don't have people for it, and then what you will get? Nothing much, probably. So, you know, being focused helps you to optimize also the investment, the time, and I don't really think with all the channels we have, all the tactics that are out there, it doesn't really, I don't think it's the question of money as much as the time and the focus, honestly.
Yes.
I know it's like easy for me to say, right, coming from a big company who has budgets, but I was working also in some SMBs before, and I worked with a lot of SMBs, and there are some great examples of people who are, like, you know, choosing the right channel. And at the end, digital and channels is just a channel, right? Your story is what sticks.
That is very, very important, because actually we see a lot of examples nowadays that there are many kind of people who have a huge audience or gained a huge audience just simply because of their story or the way how do they tell the story, the value they bring, and they invest basically almost zero to promoting themselves. And the same actually can be applied to businesses, but everything starts with what you mentioned, like understanding your audience, simplifying the language and simplifying the message to the level of the person who actually is making a decision, or at least in charge of collecting the data and or information and preparing the decision. And then it's also like showing the real value. So meaning the application of this solution or of this product in context of the business, not in context of your sales pitch, right?
Exactly.
Vedran, can you talk a bit about your experience with using different channels all across CE region? This is a question we get a lot, almost at any webinar. People ask two things: which kind of marketing automation can you recommend, and second thing, which channel works best? We always respond, it depends, but can you share your insights?
Yeah. That's the most famous answer. It depends, definitely. Well, again, I need to take it back to the audience, right? If you are talking, let's say, a of course, we all want to talk with the decision makers, right? Obviously, LinkedIn could be the best channel, right? And when it comes to the LinkedIn, I think we also need to point out that there is this, I think it's called lately LinkedIn outreach, basically known as social selling, right? In which you can really gather this kind of insights on what your desired audience, because you can really kind of identify people or industries or roles you want to follow, and based on that you can get what these people are talking about, right? And based on what they are talking about, you can identify your approach. So let's say, of course, I would not miss on the LinkedIn, not really like doesn't mean that you need to invest big bucks there. Again, it's about identify the people, finding them, engaging with them in the right way. But some of the channels can be really simple, like it can be an industry association in your region, right? It can be any kind of community, whether digital or offline, where your audience is, right? So let me get back on the office manager example, right? Is there a way to make a conference, whatever, virtual, on-site, whatever is allowed, with office managers? Trying to understand what is their pain, right? Is their pain maybe the fact that some of the employees are still using private email to save and to send the business documents, right? What is the pain? So I'm saying this because I know the example. It happened in Netherlands some time ago when there was a big SMB campaign on the adoption of Office 365 at very beginnings of Office 365. They identified office managers and they got them at the same room, and then only then they basically wanted to launch the campaign, but then they decided to relaunch it because finally they understood what is the pain of these people, right? So it can be really simple. Channel is like, I don't know, I think we expect a lot from digital because like it has a lot of insights, it has a lot of tracking and stuff like that, but it's not a solution, it's the tool. What you get out of the tool is how you approach it, and the engagement is the answer basically. And it can be one-on-one conversation, but it can be also LinkedIn outreach, right? So it's the mix of the channel is, I would say, the last step that needs to be decided based on the insights, audience, offering that you have, and so on, right?
And I would definitely also add here, just keep experimenting, keep trying, because only that can actually give you a real sense of what works and what's not. Because very often we hear, hey, Instagram or Facebook for business, no way, there is no customers. But again, if you think, who are your audience, like for instance office managers, and think where do they spend their time, spare time, like connecting with their friends and maybe peers, that's definitely would be the place to go, right? And I definitely would suggest not to base, again, as you mentioned in the beginning, your investments on your own assumptions only. You need to kind of test and try and see what actually works.
Maybe for the end of it, because at the end it was the conversation about the audience, right? I think we need to just recognize that each one of us is not only a business person.
Yes.
We are all, having our hobbies and I don't know, different kind of things, and using the same platforms to express the business and the private life. So it's also very important to understand what is the persona behind, right? This is how you can gain trust if you address this piece as well. Yeah.
So anyway, you need to go basically through gaining trust, through educating and preparing the person, and then only you can have a further kind of already more sales type of conversation. But before we maybe conclude, Vedran, what I would like to understand is like still, have you, from your again experience, like driving the security campaigns, what has worked well for moving this as from no intent to kind of proactive, or from how you call it, like from reactive to proactive type of approach. So we discussed what needs to be done in order to educate, to make it more relevant, and so on and so forth. But then in the end, still, how to make it like triggering also for some action. So should it be maybe approach more from exploring together like benefits, or more from exploring like real threats, like bringing some cases about maybe some real financial impact or reputational impact, or combination of both? From your experience, what has been resonating better?
Well, it really depends on the tone of voice you want to say, right? So we in Microsoft, we have a tone of voice that is not relied on on risks, on fear, let's say, right? We want to provide value and support and understanding. In terms of that, yes, of course, nobody ever understand everything, but we think we can help you with this piece of information, with this piece of training, with this piece of conversation, right? And this will bring a step forward. To answer the question, what we see from the insights we have, for us, what works the best, and I guess it's something that could work for others, is the simplification, right? It's really the simplification. This is when interest grows. If people understand what you are
They
talking
understand.
about.
So basically, rising the understanding, like true understanding of the problem and implications of it, right? That actually moves from reactive to proactive. Yeah.
Yes, because it gains interest, right? If they don't understand you, they will not listen to you. This is the fact. And this is, let me just give you a piece of proposal. How can you do a small exercise? Ask yourself how to position your security offering to 4 different groups. One is the retired people. Another one is the kids in the kindergarten. Third one is the ex-football player that has a bunch of money that he doesn't know where to invest. And fourth one is a BDM in company that you know. And just doing this exercise, you will see how many different stories about the same thing you can say.
It's a very, very good advice. Actually, I liked it a lot. So thank you very much, Vedran,
Thank you.
for being with us and sharing all these great insights. As time is running out, so we need to conclude the call. I don't know if you, Roland, or you, Vedran, have any final thought on this, but yeah. If not, then probably I would like to thank you once again for coming, for being with us this Friday. And for the audience, I just would like to remind that you always can see more information by following us, like as a company, ibd-consulting on LinkedIn, but also through the hashtag FriTalks, because under this hashtag you will find all the different information related to this episode and all other episodes before, as well as feel free to subscribe to Sales and Marketing FriTalk podcasts in major platforms. So we actually publish all these talks afterwards on this podcast platform so that you can listen on the go or where it's more convenient to you. So thanks a lot. I wish all of us a peaceful weekend, and then we are connecting back in 2 weeks for another Sales and Marketing FriTalk. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for having me. It was really nice conversation. I hope it helped, at least open some triggers in brain. And yeah, let's stay in touch. You have my LinkedIn connection, so if anything is needed, whoever is listening to this, please let's get connected and let's take it further. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.